Om Shanti. Good morning to some, good evening to others. So today we are going to go over the Avyakt Murli for today, which is originally from the 6th of March of 1997, and it is the Murli of Shiv Jayanti. So this Murli is fairly simple and straightforward, but it hides very deep things in between the lines. So we'll have a look at that as it comes along. So the title is A Gift for Shiv Jayanti. Become free from laboring and enjoy swinging in the swing of love. Today, Shiv Baba himself has come to celebrate his birthday with the children from all directions. And what's important about Shiv Jayanti is it proves that if Shiva took birth, then he is someone, and you can prove a person's existence by their birth certificate. Of course, we don't know exactly the moment when he took birth. Nobody does, but it is remembered. And this is a very important element in the process of proving that God is not omnipresent. If you take birth, you got born, you have a birthday, it means you are someone. You got born at a particular time in a particular place, and you are part of a family. So the children's fortune is so great that the Father himself has come to meet you and celebrate the birthday with you. The people of the world, the devotees, are calling, wanting God to come, wondering when he will come, in which form he will come. So in Hinduism, there is a belief that God will change his form and come to the earth. And that's a very interesting belief. Mostly people cannot figure out what that means, but we have been told. So he is incorporeal, but when he comes to the earth, he has to come into Brahma Baba's body. And so this is the meaning of changing his form. So the idea in Hinduism of various avatars is that he will come in this form, that form, and the other form. And so as Krishna, as Buddha, as Vishnu, as a crocodile, a pig, a fish, there's so many different avatars, and all of them are, or at least most of them are in some way symbolic of some aspect of his coming. So they continue to invoke God in this way. And here the Father himself has come, incognito, to celebrate his birthday with you children. And even in your dreams, you never would have thought of such an alokik scene. So alokik, what does that mean? It means that something that is away from the world and different. All of you have come running here to celebrate in your physical forms. But the Father is pleased to see the children from all directions saying, "Wah, my salagram children, wah." My children, the souls, who have adopted corporeal bodies and who will become angels and who will then become deities. So the angelic form, when you leave your body for the last time, you will be in your subtle form. And it is in that form that you meet Dharmaraj. Presumably most people will, other than the 8 who are part of Dharmaraj court. And then after that, having gone to the soul world, you reincarnate as deities. So this is a wonder. These are his special children. There is such a vast difference between all of you, my children who have the knowledge, and the devotees, those who do not have the knowledge. The devotees, the Hindu devotees, become happy when they receive temporary fruit of their love and devotion. It could be a vision, it could be whatever they desired is fulfilled. They continue to sing the songs of Vah and Vah. Whereas you, knowledgeable children, do not receive temporary fruit, but you claim the full inheritance from the Father, and you become those who have and have claimed all the rights. So there is a huge difference between the knowledgeful children, the Brahma Kumars and Kumaris, and the devotees. So the devotees celebrate Shiv Jayanti, and you have also been celebrating it, but there is so much difference in the way you celebrate. So all of you have come to celebrate Shiv Jayanti, haven't you? You came running from America, from London, Australia, Asia, and you came here with so much love. Today, it is the birthday of Baba and the birthday of all of you children. So congratulations for the birthday of the Father and your birthday. The Father wouldn't do anything in the corporeal world without the company of his children. He has so much love for the children that he just wouldn't do anything without the children. So first, he makes the children his instruments, and he becomes their backbone. He remains combined as Karavanhar. So he gets his work done through his children, and he remains your backbone. That is, he makes sure that you stand upright. That's what a backbone does. And he's also your support. So combined, he inspires you children to do everything. He does not enjoy anything in the corporeal world unless it is with you children. Where you leave the Father behind all by himself in the incorporeal world. So this is a sweet complaint, a joke. Of course, you came down, not on the Father's instructions, but you came down Agya. So Agya means theoretically he sends you down, but actually you come down automatically. So he will not come into the corporeal world unless you children are there. You children are definitely needed with the Father. So it's very interesting that though he is the almighty authority, but he gets everything done in the material world through physical instruments. And so all of us have been actually captured by him, and he wanted to make us into his instruments. So you children have promised, we will stay with you and we will return home with you. And that is to the incorporeal world. So when we go to the world of heaven, he doesn't come there, but Brahma Baba does in the form of Krishna and then Narayan. So Bap Dada means Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba combined. So Bap Dada saw that all of you children have much zeal and enthusiasm for celebrating the Father's birthday. And so, because of your love, Baba himself has to come here, and he has taken the support of a corporeal body. That is, Bap Dada is using the body of Dadi Gulzar. So Brahma Baba in subtle form, Shiv Baba incorporeal, and the physical body of Dadi Gulzar. So this is called spiritual love. So you children can't be without the Father, and the Father can't be without you. Baba has so much love, but he is also detached. And this is why he is described as the loving and detached one, Nyara and Pyara. So Nyara also means that he's different. So he's not corporeal. So you can also say that he's loving, but in a different form, in the sense that he's loving, but he's without a body. So that is different. That's he can't access you through the physical form unless he takes a physical body temporarily. You children have brought many gifts, cards, and letters written with hopes in your hearts, especially for this day. So there is a museum in the subtle region where all of them are displayed. You have a museum for service, and the Father has a museum of love. Whatever each one has brought or sent, all the gifts filled with love are in Bapdada's museum. So whenever you do something for Bapdada, the image of it appears in the subtle regions, and this is what he means by this. So seeing all of these, the Father is very pleased. A gift may not be expensive, but when it is filled with love, even a simple gift becomes very elevated. So Bapdada is not looking at the object. He is not looking at the paper of the card or the letter, but looking at the love of the heart that is merged within it. And this is why Bapdada has said he has a museum of love. And there is no museum like this in your entire world. So the museums of the world are all physical objects, but his museum is of the feeling behind what is represented as a physical object. So you don't have such museums. When Baba sees each gift with a lot of love, the image of the child who sent it also appears in front of him. So you don't have a camera like that, which can see the person who sent the item as well as the item. So seeing these gifts, Bapdada has a pure thought. Should Baba tell you, then you will have to do it. Will you do it? Don't think about it. So Baba is telling you beautiful things, and behind that he has something he wants. Bapdada has the thought that all these gifts have reached him, but together with these, Bapdada also wants another gift. So the gifts that all of you have given are very good, but Bapdada wants something else. So will you give this other thing? In any case, when people celebrate Shiv Jayanti, they offer something or another, and they offer themselves, they surrender themselves. So Shiv Jayanti is a celebration in India where very often people will do the ritual sacrifice and surrender themselves on Shiva. That's what he means by that. So you give your lives. Bapdada thought that all of you children have surrendered yourselves already. That means you've made your life, you've dedicated your life to Shiv Baba. So have you surrendered everything, or have you still kept something back? Have you kept something with yourself to take care of? In Shivratri, people also fast. And so Bapdada is thinking that sometimes, but not always, as you move ahead, some children get tired and they feel that they have to work very hard. And when it comes to having continuous yoga, they think, well, it will happen, it will happen. So in this way, you give hope to Baba, saying, Baba, don't worry, it will happen. But Baba doesn't like it when you get tired or begin to feel lonely. So when he says tired, he doesn't mean weary. He means that you get fed up and you feel lonely. So you start wanting to get into relationship, get back into the world, these things. Sometimes they even become disheartened and they think, I don't know whether this is in my fortune or not. So when you think like this, Bap Dada doesn't like it. So it's not as strong as the English doesn't like it, meaning dislikes it, but Baba is not, doesn't feel comfortable about it. The thing that Baba likes the least is when you start laboring. So you are masters and you are laboring, so that doesn't fit together. You're the masters who are the children of the Father. That means you have rights. And if you don't claim your rights, if you don't realize you have rights, then you try to get something by working hard. He says, you are masters of God, and so how come you are laboring? Would Baba like it? Baba doesn't even like hearing about it. So Baba had the thought, why shouldn't you children give a gift today, just as you give birthday gifts? So although physical gifts can be brought into the subtle regions, those gifts cannot emerge in the incorporeal world. But the gifts of thoughts will reach there. So, very interesting point here that when you are in the incorporeal world, you are completely unconscious, but Baba in the incorporeal world is conscious. And therefore, he's able to hear your thoughts. But when you are in the incorporeal world, you will not be aware even that you exist or that Baba is there or anything. So today, Bab Dada has the thought of taking a gift from every child. Should Baba take these gifts, which of you will give this gift? Would you say whatever happened in Madhuban is left behind in Madhuban and everything in our land is of this land? That means things are different in Madhuban, and when you come back home, circumstances are different. So your quality of your stage and so on is different because of that. And he says, don't do that. Some of you have become very smart. And what do you tell Baba? You say, we don't wish what we've given to you to come back, but it comes back by itself. So Baba says, well, if it comes back by itself, why do you accept it? Is it right that you take it back? Even if someone's forcing you to take something that you don't want, would you accept it or would you return it to them? You would return it, wouldn't you? So why are you accepting this? Maya will bring it back to you, but you don't have to accept it. Do you have this courage? So respond to Baba having considered carefully. And then when you return back to your place, don't say, Baba, what can I do? I didn't want it to happen, but it happened. My vice came back, is what he meant. You will not write such letters, will you? No. Keep your courage and take Baba's lap. Do not let go of your courage and then see whether you receive Baba's help or not. It won't happen. All of you have experienced that by keeping your courage, taking a step of courage whenever needed, Baba definitely helps and you will continue to receive help. This is guaranteed. So what is your courage? Your courage is to maintain the practices and principles. And if you break them for any reason, then it's called not having courage. So if you hold on anyway, then he will help you. So this is guaranteed. It has to be your courage in the sense of your determination that you will continue with all the practices. And then there will be Baba's help. This is guaranteed. There has to be your courage, first step, and in response to that, Baba's help. So what is it that Baba wants? Baba is seeing all of your faces and seeing whether you have courage or not. And all of you have courage. How does he conclude that? He says, if you didn't have courage, you wouldn't have made yourself belong to Baba. You wouldn't have chosen this. So now that you belong to Baba, it proves that you have courage. Belong to Baba means you've decided to go with Baba. You just make a small mistake, and that is at a time of need, you forget to have courage. Now, after something has happened, then you remember your courage and the help you get when the situation has passed. So that doesn't work. To be able to use all the powers at the right time, according to the time, is known as being a jnani and yogi soul. So Bapdada is very pleased about one thing. Do you know what that is? So many people said many things. And he says, what all of you are saying is right, but Bapdada has some other thing in mind. What all of you are saying is very deep because all of you have become knowledgeable, haven't you? Baba is pleased that some children have sent letters and cards stating that they choose or they aim to become part of the 108. So many notes like this have come. And Bapdada thought that since so many have sent their names, the garland of 108 will have to be prepared like multiple garlands. So there should be the garland 5, 6, 7, or 8 strings of 108. So it is very good that you had this thought and you kept this aim. But continue to make this thought firm every now and then. Don't let it become slack. Don't say, oh, well, Maya came, will you? Don't say, I don't know whether I will be in the rosary of 108 or not. Don't say, I don't know, I don't know. You now know that you will enter the rosary of 108. So stamp this thought with determination and say, yes, I will definitely become part of this rosary no matter what. My faith is unshakable and unbreakable. Do you have this kind of unshakable and unbreakable faith? Should Baba send Maya to shake you? No. Are you afraid? Are you afraid of Maya? You are afraid of Maya, and Maya is afraid of you. So Maya looks at your gateways to see which gates are open. So this gate is open, that gate is open. Maya continues to look for open gates or gates that are not shut properly. So why are you afraid? Maya is nothing. If you say Maya is nothing, it will become nothing. If you say Maya cannot come, it will not be able to come. Now, there's no she involved. Maya is not a person. Maya is a weak thought, basically. So you won't say, what should I do? Because that way you open up the door to Maya and you invite it in. It is a good thing that many children have made a promise to the Father to become part of the 108. So you made this promise, didn't you? And out of all of you sitting here who said that you will be part of the 108, raise your hands. Raise your hands high. Perform this drill very well. Very good. So perform the drill means the physical exercise of putting your hands up, but make it firm in your thoughts. So very good. Congratulations. Do not wonder how many will be in the 108. How will it be possible for me to be part of this? Do not think like this, because you start counting. Okay, first the daddies will come, then the didis, then the dadas, and the people of the advanced party. So I don't know whether my number will come or not. Bap Dada has told you that he would make a rosary of 8 or 10 strings, a multiple rosary of 108. So don't worry about it. Don't look at others. You will get your own number. This is the Father's guarantee. Do not step aside by thinking in this way. Do not let the thread of the rosary have an empty space somewhere in the middle where your bead should be. And if a bead would break and get removed from the middle of the garland, then the garland wouldn't look so good. So don't do this. But Baba guarantees that you will definitely come in the rosary. So today Baba has come to celebrate, not to conduct a Murli. Conduct a Murli means give you corrections, warnings, cautions. That's what's meant by conduct a Murli. So Baba has come to celebrate today. Anyone who wants to become part of the rosary can do so. All of you are welcome in the rosary of 108. The people of the path of devotion created the rosary of 108, and Bap Dada can have as many as he wants. But Bap Dada will definitely take a gift from you for this. If you want to be in his rosary, you have to give the gift. He will not leave without the gift. It's just a little gift, not a big thing. Baba looked at the charts of the last 6 months of all of you, and what did Baba see? That if some children fluctuate a little and start to fluctuate from being unshakable, there are 3 reasons for this. The same 3 things come in front of you in the form of different problems or situations. So what are those 3? One is to think of anything impure or wasteful. So wasteful means vyart, that means without meaning. So if you speak of anything impure or meaningless, or you do anything impure or meaningless. So think, speak, and do. Now, you're not performing so many seriously negative acts. You are a little bit, but not as much. But the amount of vyart, that means meaningless actions, unnecessary, insignificant, foolish actions being performed is greater. You have storms of meaningless thoughts that are not serious, that make you fluctuate. First it comes in your thoughts, then your words, and then in your actions. So as a result, Baba saw that some of you do not do this in your words and actions, but you think about things in a great deal. You waste a lot of time in this. So the time that you have for accumulating is spent by thinking unnecessary thoughts, and doubting yourself, wondering whether you really should be doing this sort of This is called meaningless thoughts. So today, Baba wants the gift of these three things from everyone: thinking, speaking, and doing things that are like not real, insignificant, mostly to do with doubt. Doubt in the self, doubt in whether you want to do this, whether you can, this sort of things. This is called Vyart Sankalap. So if you've already given this, raise your hands. And he's asking the camera people to take a video from all sides. Raise your hands high. You do not do exercise enough, and this is why you're getting fat. A lot of BKs are overweight because they just sit meditating all the time and don't do any exercise. Okay, has everyone given this gift? Don't take it back. Don't say, well, these words just came out of my mouth by themselves. What can I do? He says, well, put a button of determined thought on your lips and button up your mouth with determined thoughts. So you can, can't you? Bap Dada has great love for the children. So the sign of love is that you can't bear to see the one you love having to labor. At that time, Bap Dada has the thought that he should go into the corporeal world physically and say something to that child, but he's in the subtle or incorporeal form. So he can only reach you if you are also in your subtle stage. And if you're in your subtle stage, then you won't be having those kinds of thoughts anyway. So all of you should constantly swing in the swing of love and distance yourself from having to labor. When you keep swinging in the swing of love, all your laboring will finish. So don't keep thinking, I want to stop laboring, I want to stop this. Just sit in the swing of love and your laboring will automatically stop. Don't try to stop it, that won't work. But sit in the swing and swing instead. So Shiv Jayanti means the birthday of children, and that is the birth of you no longer working hard. So that's right, isn't it? The Father has faith in the children. Sometimes some of you step away from Baba, but even Bap Dada cannot understand how you stepped away. Just stay seated under the canopy. Brahman life means to swing with Baba, not with Maya. Maya also swings you. At Amrit Vela, see how Maya makes you swing. So instead of coming to the subtle region or coming to the incorporeal world, you go to the world of sleep. And it is said that yoga makes you double light, but your head becomes heavy instead, so you nod off. And that nodding in yoga like this is called Maya making you swing. So don't swing in Maya's swings. You've been swinging a lot in those swings for half a cycle. You've all experienced swinging in Maya's swings, haven't you? What did you get? Did you get anything? You got tired. So now, continue to swing in the swing of supersensuous joy. Swing in happiness, swing in the experience of all powers. You have so many swings, even the princes and princesses of the world here do not have all those swings. So you can swing in whichever swing you want. One moment in the swing of love, then in the swing of bliss, then in the swing of knowledge. You have many swings, countless. So stay in your swings, don't come down. Parents always want their beloved children not to step in the mud. They want their children to either have their feet in their parents' laps or in the swing or on the carpet. They feel that their children's feet should not go into the mud. It is like that, isn't it? So you are such beloved children. Is there anyone more loved than you? You are extremely loved by God. And so if you become body conscious, what does that mean? Bodies are mud. So what is a body called? Dust, dust to dust. So this is dust. So don't put your feet in the dust. Do you like dust? Some children like dust so much they even eat it, but you must not eat it. Don't put your feet in it. Your feet means your attention. Don't put your attention in physical things. Physical bodies means don't get attracted, physical attraction to another human body. Even to have the thought of engaging in physical involvement, sexual involvement, means put your feet in the mud. So don't be body conscious in that way, even in your thoughts. Think about it and remember how beloved you are. So people desire love. And if they are too far away from Shiv Baba for one reason or another, then they look for another human being to be involved with. So who are you loved by? There will not be anyone beloved by God in the golden age. In the golden age, you will be loved by the deity souls. But at the moment, you are loved by God. So Bap Dada is giving thanks to the children who give their hands of courage, shukriya, dhanyavad, different words for thanks. Acha. To the extremely fortunate children in all directions who are celebrating Shiv Jayanti with Shiv Baba himself. To such multi-million times, even multi-million is nothing. If you say the greatest number, that is very little. Such greatly fortunate souls, Baba's close and loving children who follow Baba's directions and place their steps in Baba's footsteps. To the elevated souls who are continuously seated on the unshakable seat of a master and thereby claim a throne in the future. Those who constantly swing with Bap Dada in swings of pleasure, who will return home with the Father. Bap Dada's companion children, congratulations and love and remembrance on Bap Dada's birthday. Namaste from Baba to all the masters. And the blessing, may you be filled with all the attainments and remain constantly free from having to work hard, labor hard in your Brahman life. In this Brahman life, you become filled with the three relationships of the bestower of fortune, and the bestower of blessings. So Dani, Vardani, Mahadani. So the giver, he gives. A deity is called the giver, and God himself is the giver. So you stay in spiritual pleasure without having to make any effort. Remember, the Father is the giver, and you will have the intoxication that you have all spiritual rights. Remember him as your teacher, and you will have the intoxication of the fortune of being a godly student. And the Satguru is making you move along with blessings at every moment. So the elevated directions for everything you do are actually blessings, not orders, but blessings from the giver of blessings. So remain filled with all these attainments and you'll be free from having to work hard. If you think they're orders, you'll work. If you think they're blessings, you just take them. And the slogan is lightness, and subtlety of the intellect form the most beautiful personality, that is persona. Om Shanti. So this was Shivratri Murli from 97, long time ago. Om Shanti. Sister Rose, welcome. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sister Denise. And Sister Denise, may we have a moment of silence before proceeding to the discussion?
Yes. So as you go into silence, just remember to be free from thoughts, words, and actions of doubting yourself, your value, your capability, and just know that you can do this. You're destined. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Sister Denise. Again, a very powerful reminder to be free from thoughts, words, and actions of doubting myself.
Yes. You know, we have really, really high standards because of too much, I think, messages that you get from parents, teachers, and religious leaders. And even you'll find this a little bit in the Brahmin world, where people get their religious sanskaras come pouring out. You're not good enough, you'll not make it, you're not okay, you made this mistake, so you can't come, this and that. So all of this is to be discarded. Doesn't belong in the confluence age, right?
And that's where faith in the self comes importantly.
Yeah.
Baba said that children are extremely loved by the Father. And yet, on the other hand, his love is reciprocal. How do these two reconcile?
They can be reconciled. His love is reciprocal in the sense that whatever you do for him, he will respond to that and give you accordingly. But this is outside of that. What he's talking about here is to let you know that, look, you are loved. And if you can't feel it, it doesn't mean you're not loved. Because you see, everybody wants to be loved, and it's a hunger. And there's a song about this, a very famous song. They say love. You know the song. I will find it, and Maggie will play it. You know the one I mean, right? And so this is the thing, is a hunger. And so BKs or non-BKs, whatever, by the time you get to the end of the cycle, you are so depleted that you are starved and hungry. And so you want love, and he is the ocean of love, so this is the best source, but he's subtle. And when you are consumed by hunger, you become very body conscious. You become very gross. And your desire can only be fulfilled, according to you, if you get something tangible. And this is why there is a lot of sexual desire, because they feel that they will get love that way. And what happens in sexual activity is you get a high, like any other drug, and you feel that, yeah, this is what I need. I need love like this, which is you're actually taking energy from another human being. And because you're doing that, you get into a lot of karmic account. And then that is called love, in people's language. But Baba says that's actually not love. It is a drug which is harmful for you, because it will never satisfy you, and your hunger will increase more and more and more. And so it's just one more addiction, which doesn't do the job. And the only way that you can get free from any kind of addiction, whatever it happens to be, is by direct connection with God in the mind. And so he says, look, you are love. Just come to me and do all sorts of different things to show your love to me, and have faith that you are loved, and do not think that you're unlovable, and distance yourself from God on the basis of that faulty logic. And this is what these Vyrt Samklapsa, it's all faulty logic. A lot of BKs have plenty of faulty logic, so you have to give that up. And just know you are loved, so just let me love you, and just open yourself up to my love to you, and reciprocate. You have to reciprocate to him, and make the love, which is a give and take. Love is always a give and take. So do all sorts of things out of love for Baba, and this will create that flow, whereby you'll be able to feel the love. But he always wants you to become more and more subtle. He's not going to come down to your level. He wants you to come up to his level. And this is why a lot of people get distressed, because they don't realize that trying to get God to come down to your level is a waste of time, because you won't do that. Because his job, his aim, his purpose is to bring you to his level. And you have to go along with that. You have to understand that. And that includes your exchange, your loving exchange with him. And, in love, you have to be patient.
Yeah.
And also the feeling of love is a high. And so you can have love with someone, but usually you don't feel it until they're dead, and then you've lost them. That's when people feel it the most, but too late at that time. So you have to have faith that he loves you and you love him, and move ahead with that relationship.
Thank you for reconciling this for me. And again, a quotable quote from you: "It's not love, but it is drug."
Well, yes.
Sister Denise, Baba says to be careful of the three activities, that is thinking, speaking, and doing anything that is impure or wasteful, or, as you put it, meaningless. What about feeling?
Well, this is the thing. You get a feeling, oh, maybe I'm, I'm not okay, because you have a feeling of being not okay. And feelings are very deceptive because they come, just like clouds come and cover the sun, and then it's not bright anymore, but it's dim. And so feelings are like that. Sometimes feelings come from like a karmic account. And when you have a bad feeling or a depressed feeling or something like that, you can even understand that, okay, this is just some sort of karma that I'm settling by having this negative feeling. But what happens, again, we go to faulty logic. You feel something, and then you say, I feel this, therefore it means I must be XYZ. And then you carry on in that direction, and you start telling other people, I am this, that, and the other. And then you start acting as if you don't have any rights and you're not okay and blah, blah, blah. And all of this because you didn't know how to interpret a feeling, and feelings come and go like the weather. And then he says, these thoughts are your choice. You don't have to choose those thoughts, but because of your faulty logic, you think you don't have any choice. But you have absolute choice. You don't have to allow your feelings to take over your intellect. Your intellect needs to do the work of assessing the feelings and deciding whether they have any meaning or not. And if you assign meaning to a feeling that doesn't have any meaning, then you're not very smart. So he wants us to be smarter.
So when there are such feelings, let me understand that these feelings come and go. And so I should not put too much weight on this.
Exactly. I mean, you might just wake up in the morning, you have a headache, and you'll say, oh, I have a headache, and this means that I'm no good. Excuse me, what? What kind of logic is that? You have a headache, so have a glass of water, it'll go away, or something, You give too much importance to these things and assign them too much meaning that they don't have.
Okay, now speaking of right, what does it mean when Baba says you have all rights as an incorporeal soul? What are these rights?
Well, you have rights because you are a child of God. So you have a right to his love. You have a right to the knowledge. You have a right to peace. You have a right to purity. You have a right to power. You have lots and lots of rights. And but you have to claim them. And people sort of don't realize that they have rights. And this is because a lot of people have received messages from their culture that for various reasons they don't have any rights. And this is just because some people have announced that, oh, you don't deserve such and such a thing, you don't deserve to be successful, you don't deserve, or I don't deserve, And this is all what I call toxic conventional morality. And it takes the form of the ways that parents, teachers, and religious leaders speak to small children, which gets sealed into their souls, and they carry on thinking that way for the rest of their lives. And this is actually child abuse, but nobody really gets it. Except Chief Baba, who says, no, don't listen to those people who don't have any clue about anything. Listen to me. I'm your father. And father means I love you, I protect you, I get you educated, I teach you how to understand who you are, I give you your identity. Listen to me because I am empowering you and you have a right to this. And all these people who make you believe that you're nothing, they're just telling you nonsense, fake news.
Okay. Denise, what are the differences between Baba as the bestower of fortune, and the bestower of blessings.
Well, this is like a triple expression. Dani, the giver. They've translated it as bestower because it's more religious, but actually means giver. And Vardani means he gives blessings. And Mahadani means he gives great fortune. So they're just like good, better, best, Dani, Vardani, Mahadani, almost. Yeah.
With a common denominator that Baba is a giver.
Yes, he's the giver. So take, you've got the ocean. I don't just look at it and watch the sun go up and down and say, oh, that's very nice. It's not for me because I'm only whatever, or I'm just, We have to not use this word I'm just or I'm only, but just to jump in the ocean, say the ocean is mine. Thank you very much. I'll take the whole thing. And there's a story about sparrows who drink the whole ocean. So you're the sparrows, he's the ocean, so drink.
Like being an active participant in
Yes,
this relationship
yes.
with Baba.
One must be active. In religion, they think, I'm down here and he's up there and he's the one doing everything and I just have to sit there with my hands open like a beggar. He doesn't like that. So you're not beggars, you're my children, you have rights. Now claim.
Okay. Sister Denise, why does nodding off happen in yoga?
Nodding off happens in yoga. Probably one reason is you are sleep deprived. Most BKs are sleep deprived because they're busy trying to be better and stronger and more and extreme. And so that's one reason, sleep deprived. And secondly, you listen to people who say, oh, if you're a good yogi, you can manage with 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours a night. If you want any more than that, there's something bad about you. So don't listen to BKs because they have a tendency to make things difficult for each other. Listen to Baba, who says, okay, if you want to wake up for Amrit Vela, then you have to go to bed early enough to be able to do that and be fresh when you wake up, which means you have to adjust your biological clock, and that may take a little while to do that. Also, it's good to have meditation from time to time during the day to keep up your level. And the main thing that messes up your meditation is if you do stuff which is against his prescriptions, all the various different practices that he's given. If you don't do them, this will interfere. The other thing is old unresolved karmic accounts. There's a lot of that just gets in the way of your yoga. And so then you just have to resist it and keep going and try again and do extra study, extra this, extra that, but try to keep balance so that you don't go into a state of exhaustion by doing too much extra. It's all very subtle, actually. And it's quite difficult to pinpoint what's going on. Another thing is sometimes there are people who really don't like you and they will send all kinds of bad thoughts your way. And that can also interfere with your meditation. I mean, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you if everybody doesn't like you or somebody doesn't like you. It could be jealousy. And that happens. You have to, I think, just really look at yourself and take a look at some things that you can do that are doable and keep doing those and make sure that you do not use your mind for negative stuff, because that will actually destroy your accumulation of yoga. Because, you know, like in financial matters, you need money to make money. In the same way, you need the power of yoga to create more yoga. So you have to understand how to preserve your yoga on a daily basis. And so using all these points, like some of the things that we talked about in the session yesterday, so that your yoga doesn't get all drained out every day.
Thank you. Now, speaking of rosary, Baba spoke of 108. As a BK, what is the practical significance of this for me?
Well, the 108 has a description. It means those who pass with honor.
Mhm.
And so there are various tests, all sorts of tests, and you will experience being tested as you go along this path again and again. And so you have to understand what your weaknesses are. Everybody has their main insurmountable weaknesses. And so you have to be able to identify those. And once you've identified that, and you've made yourself strong in that area, that goes a long way. You have to see where your susceptibilities. You have many susceptibilities, many wounds, many traumas which have left distortions in the soul. And your job is to straighten all these things out and make yourself free. And if you succeed in all of those things, then you're 108 or even an 8, but at least 108. It's to do with that. It's not to do with checking to see who's number 102 and who's number 95 and who's number 30 and where do I fit. You can't do that. It's impossible. And Brahma Baba used to try and enumerate people one by one, and they found it couldn't be done because people are up and down every day. But this, I think, is the real thing, is how you handle your tests, identify them, understand that a lot of things that you think is because of other people is not actually because of them, it's because of you. So you have to really focus on yourselves. There are these, there's this injunction that Daddy Janki used to talk about a lot. Swachintan, Ishwar Chintan. Think about yourself, think about God. What do BKs do? Think about everybody else. And that's not useful, because everybody else, from the point of view of the knowledge, is actually, they're all just sense perceptions. And so the more you think about other people, the less time you give to thinking about yourself and God, because yourself and God is what this is about.
Mm.
But if you isolate yourself, then you're also going to an extreme which is not useful. So, but your real focus of attention is on who am I, what's going on with me, where are my distortions, where are my traumas, where are my wounds, what are my qualities, what is my value, how do I look in the eyes of God, what is he saying about me? Like he said, you must claim your rights.
Okay. May I read some questions from the Zoom? Is it Shiv Jayanti that is celebrated here, or Bap Dada's birthday? Then I don't know. It says, aren't all souls included? I don't know, Sister Denise.
Okay, well, it was very clearly stated in the Murli that all the souls do have a relationship with God. But the overwhelming majority of souls cannot celebrate his birthday in this way because they're still waiting for him to come. So now, who has come? Shiv Baba has come to celebrate his birthday because he incarnated into the body of Brahma Baba, which is known if you're a BK and if you recognize him and become his child, then you can celebrate his birthday. So that is the birthday of Shiv Baba, who has incarnated through the body of Brahma Baba, who then left his body 1969, 18th of January, became the angelic form. And then Bab Dada continues to come through the body of Dadi Gulzar up until 2018. And so all of this celebration of Shiv Jayanti is Bab Dada, Shiv Baba, together with the subtle form of Brahma Baba through the physical form of Dadi Gulzar, so that you can enjoy your birthday. Because when he comes and you meet him and you recognize him, then he says, you are my adopted child, and you say yes, then your birthday starts that time. So that's what it is.
Sister Denise, her follow-up question is, aren't all souls eternal?
What does that have to do with it?
That's her follow-up question.
Yeah, well, if you're eternal, you don't have a birthday. So what is this birthday? God is also eternal. Everybody's eternal. Why do we have birthdays? And the birthday refers to the time when you become aware of your identity. And so when Shiv Baba connects with you, you recognize him, and he says, yes, I am your father, you are my child, then that moment is commemorated as your birthday. It doesn't mean you came into existence. It doesn't mean he came into existence. It means you come into the corporeal form to be able to interact through the corporeal instruments of human bodies and things.
I think you got her questions. There's another question here. Avyakt Murlis continue to be viewed in Madhuban, which are described as Avyakt meetings. It appears there's no difference from where Dadi Gulzar was still around. How does one make sense of this phenomenon? And the next question is, am I missing something when I cannot resonate with the goings on?
No, you're not missing anything. But you have to understand that the overwhelming majority of BKs, especially in India, are predominantly religious. And the natural response of religious people is to ritualize something that took place in the past, which has stopped taking place. And so what should the BKs in Madhuban do, who are in charge of things and who don't know how to do it any other way? And they want everything to continue as if Bab Dada didn't stop coming. And so they ritualize it, and they make themselves feel like, yeah, this is the right way to do, this is the tradition, these are very traditional people. And then it's like, there is Jesus Christ, and then he got crucified, and then came the rest of the Christian story, which you have in the Bible. And then what do Christians do? Every 25th or 24th of December, they have Christmas. We've got Christmas coming up next week. And what do? They make a little crib, on Christmas. They had the baby Jesus, and then the three wise men and Mary and Joseph and the star, and they tell the stories, and they had the Christmas tree, which nothing to do with Christmas, and the presents, and it's a good commercial opportunity. But this is the thing, this is what people do. They make rituals out of historical events that are momentous, which is the start of the religion. And so a lot of BKs think of BKism as a religion like that, because they're religious people. Most of the BKs are religious people. And so then they do that. So that's their logic. So you just didn't know that.
So Denise, you just said most of the BKs are religious people.
Well, they are.
And I thought we are out from the devotional sanskars.
Well, we should be. But not
Okay.
everybody is. You know, it's very difficult for religious people to not be religious. And I think it's very difficult for non-religious people to be religious. And the thing is, you get religious people who want to develop themselves spiritually, and you get non-religious people who also want to develop themselves spiritually. But they're not the same, because they don't have the same sort of, they're wired differently, you can say. And I'm a particularly non-religious person, but I am very interested in the spiritual, and non-religious in the sense that I don't. I'm not very ritualistic, you know. I'll do Christmas with other Christmas-minded people to be nice and to, you know, do that. But you know, I mean, not everybody is wired that way, and I just not wired that way. But majority of people are, you see, majority. And in BKs, it's you know, these are people who have done 2,500 years of religious practice, and presumably I have too. But by the time you reach Baba, he says, okay, you're finished with that. Now we're doing something different. But a lot of people, they still are in a religious way of responding to things, which is absolutely their right and nothing wrong with it. And when it comes to the BK as an organization and all the things, you'll see there's just endless ceremonies and rituals and all of that, and Borg offerings and, you know, all these things, because that's what they know how to do. You know, I'm more interested in, you know, what does all this mean? Like, I like the university idea, discussions, and then my meditation, I like to do it alone and for when I want, how long I want, without anybody telling me you can't do it this way or that way or the other way. Excuse me, no. This is between me and God. But most people not like that, you see. So that's how it is.
I thought that Gyan is the fruit of devotion. And
Well,
so having come to Baba, then again, supposedly the devotional part has ended. And yet the sanskars are so powerful that it's still operating without my conscious knowledge.
well, I don't know. You know, there's another thought that I have, which is how many BKs have actually recognized Baba?
Mhm.
Because when he talks to us about us, he says, you are the few among the few, the very, very few, the handful among the handful. So we have 1 million BKs, that's a handful from the point of view of the whole world. And then you have a few, we don't know how many, a few who have actually recognized him. He says, very, very few of you know me as I am and what I am, which means the overwhelming majority doesn't. And so one way of looking at it is that, well, maybe all those who don't know him as he is and what he is are still in devotion. And I mean, that would explain why there are so many people who like all of that. And so few who have gone past all of that.
That's actually a very good question to ponder upon. Ever since we heard this from you months ago, I think. May I go back to the question earlier? Because there are words that I was not able to mention. When the question was asked about Shiv Jayanti being celebrated, or is it Bapdadas? The next question is, then aren't all souls included in Shiv Baba? That's the question.
Oh, I see. Well, no. Shiv Baba is himself and all souls are themselves. So there are beliefs that some people have that all souls are part of God. And this is one of the religious beliefs that he says, no, I'm God and you are you. And we're a big family, but you are not part of me.
There's another comment here. I heard from a senior teacher who said that go to the subtle region and talk to Bapdada. My question is, how will I visualize this?
Well, the thing is, it's not really a matter of visualizing. It's more a matter of, first of all, do you know who is Bapdada? And second of all, what did that person anticipate that you should be talking to Bapdada about? Because if you are told to talk to Bapdada, it's usually about some reason, which wasn't mentioned there. Because meditation is with Shiv Baba in the soul world. But you do also have a relationship with Brahma Baba. Some people are completely incapable of conceptualizing the incorporeal soul and incorporeal God. And that is the overwhelming majority of people. And it includes pretty much all the religious people. Because if you're religious in any of the religions, you are about different iconography, and if you're a Hindu, you believe in all kinds of gods and goddesses. And what Baba had once said is that the Hindus tend to have a Tamil Pradhan intellect, which is unable to conceptualize abstract concepts. And so there must be a very large number who are like that. And then he had said the Western people tend to have a Rajasic intellect, which means you're capable of conceptualizing abstract things, which means you're also capable of conceptualizing Shiv Baba. And so if you can do that, then that's really very good. But if you can't do that, then you're limited. So that's the thing. I think it's quite difficult for a person to evaluate themselves completely, because unless you're God, who is Sato Pradhan all the time, and who can see exactly what's going on, and you might not be able to, but really, if you have a relationship with Shiv Baba through Brahma Baba, where the BKs were able to talk to Brahma Baba and Shiv Baba, and then when it became Bap Dada, it sort of continued in that way. And so maybe it's those who couldn't connect with Shiv Baba because of not being able to conceptualize something which is beyond the physical. And that's a majority of people. So even senior teachers may or may not be able to do that. I don't know.
In this context, I think there is a follow-up comment. We were taught that in order to talk to Shiv Baba, then we need to invite him to come to the subtle region, and he enters the body of Brahma Baba, which means that we can only talk to Shiv Baba in the subtle region.
No, that's faulty logic.
Okay.
Because anyway, you're not going to go to the subtle regions. You have to go past the subtle regions. That is not your destination. Your destination is the soul world, and your teacher is not this or that BK. Your teacher is Shiv Baba, and he speaks the Murli every day. And if you look at the Murli, he says, remember me in the soul world. Never says ever, remember me in the subtle region. No way. Who came up with that idea? That's made up.
Yes, to remember him in the soul world. What about talking to him?
Well, I mean, I can talk to you in my mind without you being there, without you even knowing what I'm doing. But it's normal for people to talk to each other in their mind. We can talk to each other on the phone, and we both know about the conversation. But I don't see why you can't talk to Shiv Baba in your mind without having to go through the rigmarole of bringing him down to Brahma Baba, figuring out how to get to the subtle regions, which you don't know how to do anyway, and you're not trained to do it, and you're not supposed to do it. You're supposed to remember incorporeal God in the incorporeal world, knowing that he's not omnipresent.
Mm-hmm.
And that should work.
Okay. This is in connection of the Avyakt meetings that are continuing to happen. The follow-up question is, so even if in the official, shall we say, official communication of the country where this is announced and encouraged, isn't this ritualization being reinforced?
Absolutely. But you see, the thing is this, when Baba decided not to come anymore, and Dadi Gulzar left the body, and all the other daddies except Dadi Ratan Mohini, who's about to be 100, also left the body. And then the BK say, well, what should we do now? They say, what should we do? And so then they will have a discussion with each other, and they will say, well, we'll carry on everything just as it always used to be, and we'll put the TV screen in the middle and not just only on the sides, and that will be okay. That's what they're doing. And because they have to make Madhuban attractive to people, you see. Because otherwise they don't know what to do. And so there are many, many people in this situation where you have to decide, either you ritualize or you have to reinvent everything. And most people can't reinvent everything. That's too much.
Again, this is a follow-up question to the remembering Baba in the soul world. So does this mean that I don't have to go through subtle region, that I can go straight to the soul world?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Go for it.
She says, thank you for this clarification.
Most welcome.
Next question is, what are my rights as a BK. Next, do they change in time or during our journey? And that means the rights. Do the rights change in time or during our journey? Then, what are the rights of the souls of the family of humanity?
Well, let's just stick to your rights to start with. So your rights are, you have a right to remember Shiv Baba. You have a right to access to the Murli. You have a right to practice purity. You have a right to be vegetarian. You have a right to be celibate. You have a right to do Amrit Vela. All these things that Baba recommends, you have a right to do that. And there may be people who want to prevent you from that right. If you practice all these things, you have a right to go to Madhuban and stay there for a time, like a week or a few days or whatever. Because you see, the people who are the trustees of the yagya, they create arrangements to make things work meaningfully on a physical level. You have a right to be free. You have a right to be happy. You have a right to be pure, peaceful, powerful, loveful, blissful being of light. You have a right to become Lakshmi and Narayan, but then you have to fulfill all the criteria. And you have a right to not have waste thoughts, you know. Yeah, all sorts of rights. You have a right to BK friends. You have a right to, wake up early in the morning. You have a right to go to the center or not go to the center. There may be some people who want to limit your rights, and then you have to find out, okay, what are these rights? Do I have this right or do I not have this right? So you can ask us if you want, because we know. And then the rights of all the other people in the world, well, they have a right to God. But then they have to recognize him, they have to find him. So our job is to enable them to enjoy their right, which is why we do service, so that people can know that if you want, you can study Raj Yoga, you can fulfill your right to know God and what he has to say and all of these things. So we have a responsibility. And along with rights also go responsibilities. They always go together. So you have a right to be a BK, but you have a responsibility to do it right. And then there's two ways.
Okay. She said here specific rights with Baba.
Specific rights with Baba. You have a right to say hello, and he has a right to say hello back. What kind of specific rights are you thinking about? You're talking about you have a right to the inheritance, right? So
Yeah.
the inheritance is the knowledge. And so if you want that, then you have to churn. And if you don't know how to churn, you have to learn. And you have to meditate, and you have to do all the things, whatever he says, because otherwise you won't be able to grasp the knowledge, because it's very, very subtle and it's all encrypted. So, and he's the ocean of so many things, so you have a right to that, but then you have to go to his level, not make him come down to your level. He won't do that. He told us, okay, initially he's physical, he comes in the physical body of Brahma, okay, that finished. Then he gives Avyakt sustenance, and that's finished. Now he says, if you are able to make yourself come to my level, then we can meet, but otherwise not. You must be able to come to his level and have the Avyakt meeting in the Avyakt stage, in the Avyakt world.
This is another question. When we talk to Baba, we will talk to him in silence because sometimes I cannot avoid talking or opening my mouth talking to him when I'm churning. Is this okay?
Yeah, sure, it's okay. Of course. Lots of people talk out loud when there's nobody there for them to talk to. Look at all these people who walk along the road talking and they're on their cell phone, little earpieces and things. So yeah, you can talk to him out loud, but then he can hear your mind, so you don't need to.
The question here is, how do we understand Bap Dada is combined of Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba?
Well, this is subtle. Brahma Baba has reached parity with Shiv Baba during the period of time when he is in the subtle regions until he gets born as Krishna, where he will separate from Shiv Baba. And so this is called Bap Dada because they have parity. And so Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba are functioning together. And they are doing many things that they tell us about, and many things they don't tell us about. Yeah.
Okay, another question. A few Murlis ago, Baba said, when a BK leaves the body, his next birth is in the golden age. So, what has happened to the souls who have left the body years ago and even recently? Have they taken birth to be part of the advanced party, or are they suspended somewhere?
No. They've taken rebirth as normal human beings, except for a very, very few who have taken rebirth as advanced party. So when Baba says, when you leave this body, your next body is in the golden age, that's provided that happens at the time of destruction. Because if you leave the body before destruction, you have to reincarnate. So sometimes he says, try not to die, because otherwise you'll have to take rebirth, and then you have to grow up, and then you have to find the BKs again and carry on. And the advanced party people are already karmatik, but they still have to take rebirth. They have a special role. But everybody else, they become little baby former BKs, and they very often find the BKs again. Yeah.
There's a question again. Can you explain more about this claiming my right? Yeah.
Well, let's look at it. Okay, you have a right to the inheritance. The inheritance is the knowledge. If you understand the knowledge, it will enable you to do pure karma, which will create your status in the golden age. So the knowledge is the most important thing. You have a right to the knowledge. So, one of the things I'm particularly interested in is good translations, because if you get a good translation, you can grasp the knowledge better. But the wonder is, even if you don't get a good translation, if you're connected with Baba in your mind, you'll understand what it should say, even if it doesn't say exactly what it should say. So that's a very interesting aspect of Shiv Baba, that he will not allow any other situation to get in the way of you receiving what he wants to say and with what he intends you to understand. And he'll find one way or the other to enable you to do that. That's really wonderful.
And yet, the way you are translating some words are very helpful for us.
Yeah.
Another question. Can Sister Denise share tools, ways, points of Gyan to overcome guilt?
Guilt. Well, the way I see guilt is, if you did something wrong, you'll get a feeling of guilt, right? So if you actually did something wrong, then you will, if you do a crime, say, and you get caught by the police or somebody and you get taken to court, and they will decide whether you're guilty or not. That means whether you did it or you didn't do it. So if they decide that you did it, then they'll give you a punishment. They may put you in prison or give you a fine or whatever they think it is. Then you have guilt as in religion. And so what people in the context of religion have is they say, I feel guilty. And I say, what do you mean? There's no such thing as feel guilty. You either are or you aren't, you see, because guilt is not a feeling, or it shouldn't be. And if the religious authorities have introduced the feeling of guilt into people, then they have done you a disservice. But maybe they thought it was a good idea, so fair enough. But as far as I'm concerned, the feeling of guilt is something that can come to you from your conscience. And so if you did something wrong or you're about to do something wrong, your conscience will give you a little bite. And that will last for 1 second. And that's about as long as you need to feel guilty, because it's just a message to let you know that that wasn't okay. Don't do it again. You see, but if you carry on feeling guilty for months and months and years together, like it sometimes happens, okay, somebody is reversing their car and there's a child under the wheels, which they didn't see, and they kill that child, and then they feel guilty for the rest of their lives because of that. And, the thing is, you did everything to make care. You checked, were you careless? And they will say, no, but it shouldn't have happened, but it did happen. And, I can never get over it. But, that child has gone reincarnated. That was their part in drama. There's nothing you can do. And feeling guilty about it endlessly is not going to do anything except weaken you. That's all it will do. And so this endless, unrelenting feeling of guilt that people do get into, you need to know that all it will do is weaken you. There's nothing else that it'll do. It won't change the situation. It won't make you a better person. It will do nothing except drain your energy. And from Sheep Baba's angle, it's a waste of time and energy. And he wouldn't recommend it. So, but I know that people are trained to feel guilty in a religious context, but I never was, so I don't really know about it too much.
I got something new when you said guilt is not a feeling. It's either you are guilty or not.
All right.
I think one of the many aspects which make BK guilty is the next question. What about being a vegetarian and we are not allowed to eat garlic and onion? But sometimes we are not aware about this ingredient, especially when we are outside our house. So what can you advise about this?
Well, first of all, nobody has a right to allow you or disallow you or anything like that. Don't allow yourself to be in that position in regard to anyone, number one. Secondly, all these things are recommendations. If you want to have good yoga, then a vegetarian diet is going to help you. And so you do it because you want to, not because anybody tells you you have to, or allows you, or disallows you, or forces you, or that makes you a slave, and you are not. As a child of God, you have a right to eat what you want. But he says, okay, if you go and be a cannibal or whatever, then don't expect to have good yoga because it won't happen. It'll get in the way. And so you have to learn the philosophy of karma, that what kind of activities promote good yoga and what kind of activities get in the way. And then it's up to you to decide what you want to do. But if you're going to eat all sorts of things that are not recommended, and then you complain that you don't have yoga, well, you go back to your diet and do some fixing, and there'll probably be an improvement of your yoga because all these things have been explained. Such and such a thing promotes yoga, such and such a thing gets in the way of it. You know, God did not create morality, people did. He tells you what works, and people don't.
Mm-hmm.
So listen to God and not people. It's better, more reliable.
So I presume, so in this situation, when because of maybe not being aware or due to ignorance, then he or she had something that has onion and garlic and feels guilty about it. So
Well, you didn't do a crime. Okay, you had some onion and garlic. What will it do? It'll make you feel a little bit anxiety, something like that for a few minutes, and then it'll go away again. And just to let you know, okay, you had something that's not quite right. So be careful next time. That's it. You don't have to feel guilty. It's not necessary.
okay. So Denise, another reason for feeling guilty is missing Amrit Vela. So again,
Well, it's not a crime to miss Amrit Vela. You can only feel guilty if you actually did a crime. You murdered somebody or you stole something that upsets somebody and doesn't belong to you, and you beat someone up. These are crimes that you can feel guilty about, but don't do them. Why would you have to do them anyway? If you miss Amrit Vela, then you say, okay, oops, try next time, the next day, and make it happen. And but it's nothing to do with feeling guilty. You may feel bad.
mm-hmm.
You missed it and say, oh, drat, I missed it. That's not called guilt.
Okay.
It may be a regret. Yeah, regret. Oh, I stayed up too late, so I missed my Amrit Vela. Okay, if you want Amrit Vela, don't stay up too late. Up to you.
There's a comment here. Guilt is not from Shrimat. It comes from the old feelings of devotion.
Well, I think that's right, because it's the in the religious context, like in Christianity, for example, everybody's born in sin, So who says that these people who say it and who hear it, they'd have no idea what they mean by that, you see. Now, once you come into Gyan, you can understand that whoever you were born to, there are some karmic accounts with those people. That doesn't mean that you are by definition a sinner. You see, that you should feel guilty about your existence. This is extrapolation on the part of the religious authorities who went beyond their what they're allowed to do. And nobody was around to stop them. That happens.
Still on the subject of guilt, can performing good karma release a person from guilt?
Well, performing good karma will create positive karmic money in your account, which can be useful for paying off debts. You see, so it's much better to think of it in terms of debts, profit and loss, not guilt. You're not criminals here. And then guilt it's not a feeling. So you need to put a different word on it. But you see, it's the religious environment that trains people to weaken themselves in the name of being a so-called quote unquote good person, you see, and all this is manipulation. And Baba is not keen on it at all. This is why he says, finish all your devotion, because now you're in Gyan, it's a different story. And you want to go back to bhakti, that's up to you, but we are not going to encourage that. At least I'm not.
This is a question regarding subtle region. Do we need to practice experiencing Brahmapuri, Vishnupuri, Shankarpuri of the subtle region?
Absolutely not. You just need to know about it, which you do. You know about it. You can't go there. You know, if you're a trance medium or a trance messenger, which Baba has strongly not recommended because that's full of Maya doing that stuff. No, you just need to know that there is such a thing as a subtle body. The subtle regions has been classified as having a white, a yellow, and a red section. Where you get visions of the destruction in the red section, or visions of the soul world, or you can get visions of the golden age or Vishnu or somewhere in the yellow area, and you get visions of Brahma, Baba, and various angels in the white area. But all of that was from the early days when there were lots of visions. And Baba has said at the end, I will entertain you with visions, and then we'll have a look and see where he takes us. It's a big movie theater. But now he wants us to understand the knowledge and apply it and practice meditation, pure karma, and study. A subtle region not involved.
Thank you. Sister Denise, you are so patient in answering all the questions.
Oh, no, this is my...
I think this is the last question. Any special tips to constantly reinvent ourselves to increase our creativity?
You don't reinvent yourselves constantly. You reinvent yourself once in a while when it's necessary. So that's not constantly. And then your creativity is different from reinventing yourself. Your creativity, there's many types of creativity, many levels of creativity. If you're a creative writer, or if you're an artist or dancer, then you need inspiration for making something new. And that usually arises in silence. So, but this deep silence. So it's outside the range of tips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have actually put out a lot of materials. So this is what I say to the BKs. Go to, even just in EGY, there are so many sessions that you already gave. And even if we have heard it once, it's always useful to listen to it again and again. Sister Denise, there's another, I think this would be the last question. How do we get to know the things that Bapdada has not told us about?
He will let you know when he wants you to know. Because whatever he has told us about, we know, but we know that there are many things he hasn't told us about, so we don't know them. And he will let us know when he wants.
Thank you for a very, very enriching session, Sister Denise. And it's a very good ending for the year.
All right.
for the
Thank
EGY.
you.
And
Om
Om
Shanti,
Shanti.
everyone.